Well, the Delhi Capitals are putting some wins together now. Things seem to be going for them, and they've downed the Sunrisers Hyderabad today at the Brabourne Stadium by 21 runs. That'll be pretty handy victory for Rishabh Pant, who, of course, who had to play this game with a number of changes, and it keeps the Capitals' chances for the playoffs very much alive. This is Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Eco 95G. We'll hear from Imran, Tahir in just a moment. First up, Dan Vettori. Almost always seemed like that chase was too far from the Sunrisers, fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think we talked about in the mid-show around 200 is a tough chase. No matter how good the surface is, when you've got a bowling lineup that can actually negate some of your scoring areas, it puts a lot of pressure on that front 6 overs, and teams tend to have to go exceptionally hard. And you saw that a little bit, I suppose, in Kane's innings, where he was trying to be aggressive the whole time, and it didn't quite come off. So yeah, it looks closer than it was in the end, but Delhi had that comfortably under control.
Yeah, I mean, I said they're putting wins together. They're actually winning one, losing one, the Delhi Capitals. That's how their season's been, hot and cold. But when they're hot, they are a team to watch, right? David Warner, the runs to of Mint Powell. Imran, if you look back today as to what the biggest plus points are, would you say it's just some of the overseas players having a big say on this game? Powell with the runs, Ranrik Nortje look like he's back to almost his best. Is that the biggest takeaway for Delhi? Right, I'm going to come to Imran in just a second, just trying to reestablish that link. But let's carry on the same chat. Would that be more satisfying to Rishabh Pant, Ricky Ponting, the overseas boys coming good just the right time?
Every team looks good when your players perform, but I think Powell's looked like that all season. It's just more the opportunity at that number 5 spot. I think it feels like it's the first time he's batted that high. Warner continues on that form that we've already seen so far. So those two seem like rocks within their team. I mean, now that you've seen them perform like that, and you put Prithvi Shaw and Axar Patel back into their side, you go, oh my goodness, this is a serious team. And if those two perform and they spread the performances across, Nortje looked pretty good tonight. So it feels like the Delhi Capitals team that we probably expected, and we talked about them being a chance for the semis even when they'd only had a couple of wins. But this sort of win builds momentum, builds a bit of confidence in that bowling unit, and that if they get on surfaces that aren't quite as good, then their bowlers can pick them up. Whereas their batters did the job tonight, which is always satisfying.
As far as the Sunrisers go, if you look back at that innings, which Pooran did keep alive for a significant period of time, would you go back at the start and look at perhaps not too many runs and too many wickets?
Well, I mean, Abhishek and Kane obviously had to come off to a flyer for them to have any chance, and it didn't come off. And that's just the nature of chasing 200, that you have to get off to a flyer, you have to be aggressive, you have to go hard. And when you do that, sometimes you put yourself in a high-risk situation and you get dismissed like they were. I mean, Abhishek Sharma was unlucky, to get caught at short fine leg like that. Kane was obviously trying to take it back to Nortje, and he bowled well. It was a great ball to dismiss him. So I don't think Sunrisers batting should be the focal point of when you lose a game like this. They've got to find a way to defend 180, 185 bowling first, because 200, 207 is obviously too many runs, no matter the surface. Yeah,
fair enough. Just as before we get Imran, we'll just wait for a couple of moments. But it makes for a good chat about the Sunrisers team, who've now lost 3 on the trot. And if we look at where they stand on the points table too, it'll tell you a story on its own. Team that surprised us by winning 5 on the trot is now suddenly finding themselves on the wrong side of that playoff position. And they've conceded 190 plus against Gujarat, 200 plus against Chennai, 200 plus against Delhi, for a team whose strength was backed on their bowlers doing the job, or maybe winning the toss and bowling first. Wheels coming off?
I don't think so. I think if you look at those 5 wins, it was obviously winning the toss and potentially bowling on surfaces that just had enough in them, that kept the Sunrisers bowling on top. Marco Jansen was pretty good through those 5 games, along with the rest of the bowling attack. So we're talking about a bowling lineup that was dominating other teams on surfaces, and now it feels like they're coming up on exceptional surfaces, and maybe that puts that that bowling unit a bit more under the spotlight, like it does to most on good surfaces when teams can hit through the line and be aggressive. So I think it's more a change of surface. So if Sunrisers in their next game get on a surface that has a little bit in it, then maybe that brings them back to the party, brings their batters into more of an opportunity to get that 160, 170 score, which their bowlers can defend on a pitch that maybe offers a little bit more.
Are they missing a quality spinner? And Washington Sundar's injuries, one after the other, and perhaps no one really to take his place and have an impact?
Oh, 100%. I mean, tonight you would have seen Washington Sundar bowl that over that Rishabh Pant went for 3 sixes of 4, and I would be very surprised if it went for more than 10 because of the quality that he has, the understanding of him and knowing how to bowl to left-handed batsmen and right-handed batsmen. He matches up across the gamut. So he's a huge loss.
Yeah. Imran, I think Imran's back with us. Let's just hope that the link is good. Imran, you can hear me loud and clear?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Now take me through your first thoughts. Seems like a very satisfying win for Delhi. Dan calls it a confidence-boosting win. What was the biggest takeaway for you? We're just talking about how the overseas players have had a big part to play in today's win. Is that a big takeaway for you?
Yeah, look, I think it was a great team effort, set a tone by David Warner, won the toss, batted first, and then put a big total on the board and defend that. I think it was a great team performance. They had a good day. But I think he showed his class and he stayed there till the end and he wanted to do it and he did it in his way.
Let's talk about Andrik Nokke before we talk about Nicholas Pooran. We wanted to see what we'll see of Nokke, Imran. Happy with what you see? That first wicket of Kane Williamson seemed to mean a lot out of him. It was almost a celebration out of your book.
Yeah, look, like I said to you, the guy waited and he was doing well, and I think he had an injury, and people had to understand that. Like I said to you, I mean, we all played the game, and then he needed some game time, and then you can't just see the guy one game and tell him you're not doing well, and you put him on the bench. A guy like him who's such a class bowler, I think you need to give him proper opportunities, and I think he was hungry enough and he came back and he showed obviously what he's got.
That wicket of Williamson for Nokia seems like it meant a lot to him. You see him keeping his place as well in this team now, ahead of Fizz?
I actually don't think it mattered who he got out. I think he was just excited to be back on the field and contribute. But obviously Kane is a little bit better wicket than most. Look, I think like we talked about, Prithvi Shaw, Axar Patel will come back in if fit, and I don't think they'll make too many other changes because this is getting back to the Capitals team, like we mentioned just before, that probably looks so formidable. And Rovman Powell in that middle order gives them something pretty special at the moment. And if those other international players, albeit overseas or Indian international players, can come to the party, then they are a very dangerous team.
Mitch Marsh bowling 4 overs. Is that another quiet box ticked today?
Yeah, I think so, particularly in the times that he bowled, was sort of early after the power play and then the near the death. So it'd be nice for them to see him bowl in those situations. They didn't have to go to a 6th or 7th bowler. They're going to have that 6th bowler when Axar Patel comes back. So it's just all building nicely. And these teams, more often than not, in IPLs, there's a team that comes from 7th, 6th, 5th place to storm into the semis, and Delhi have that feeling about them.
All right, they need to put some back-to-back wins together for that. Amy, before the chat, we were just discussing the Sunrisers, team that exceeded expectations at the back of strong bowling performances. Now 3 games in a row, they've conceded over 190 and 200. What do you think their bowling is missing?
I think they're missing a quality spinner. I think they should try to get somebody who can come and bowl in middle overs and trying to get 1 or 2 stick in the middle and put pressure on the other teams. I think that's what they need to look into it, and that's it really. Otherwise, I think as a group, they did okay as a bowling group, but I think somehow they need to get a spinner in.
I mean, there's not much you could do at this stage of the tournament in terms of squad options, but if Washi's injury is to go on longer, is Shreyas Gopal the man to just keep going and hope he has a better game than tonight?
I think so. It's a tough to come in after a long time away from the game. He bowled to 2 left-handers on a very good surface, like we talked about. So I think they can give him a chance because he feels like he's the slightly more attacking option than Suchith. I think Suchith can bowl in that way. I think we're doing a disservice to think that he can't be a quality left-arm spinner who tries to turn it. But what they've asked of him, it seems like, is just to fire it into the pads and be defensive, complement those 4 fast bowlers. And he actually did a pretty good job when he had the opportunity, but mainly on the back of them being 5, 6, 7 down and him being able to bowl to the back end of the batting order.
All right. And as far as positives for the Sunrisers from this game, Imran, Nicholas Pooran looks like we're seeing the best of Pooran now. We're wondering what sort of season he'll have, but he's put in a couple of scores even in these defeats that have reminded us of how good he is.
Yeah, look, he's always been a talented. It's just the matter that he just needed some runs under his belt, and I think that's what he's shown this year. I played with him for Guyana. He's a wonderful player, very dangerous player. And yeah, look, him and Aiden Markham, I think if they were keep going, I think they were very close to win this game at this stage.
Yeah, about 15 and over for what, 10, 11 overs, and they've only fallen 20 short. You just wonder if maybe Markram's wicket, big moment in the chase. It could have gone somewhere else otherwise.
Yeah, and the way Khalil Ahmed bowled, we probably shouldn't forget either him coming back and taking 3 wickets, and I think being the most economical. So I think that Aiden Markram Pooran partnership can be something special for Sunrisers because the middle order is always tough to fill in those spots, and those two seem to be batting exceptionally well together. If they keep getting more from that top 3, then you look at that top 5 as a complete unit, and then you look at their bowling unit as being pretty good. So, I mean, we could go through this with every team. Every team looks pretty good when they're playing well.
Most decisive period of play today, though, for you, was it the final push that they got, courtesy of Rovman Powell? Was it the wickets of Aiden Markram, the timely wicket of Aiden Markram? What do you think decided this game?
I think it's Warner's innings. I think when an opener comes out and scores 92 off 50-odd balls, that sets the plate for everything, sets the table for everything, and then Rovman Powell just finished it off.
Imran, where do you think this game was decided? First innings itself, game was put beyond Sunrisers, you think?
Look, I give credit to David Warner and Delhi's batting that, they put a good score. But I still think Hyderabad were in the game, even though they lost 3 wickets earlier. But I think Aiden Markham and Nicholas Pooran partnership was very important for them. And I think they were going really fine. Like I said, I think if Markham was in, it could be a different story. And we could be talking about different things.
Yeah, very true that. They look at that game, Sunrisers, and think of their moments, a couple of soft dismissals too, Williamson, Shashank towards the end. But as a result of this 21-run loss defeat, they have now lost 3 in a row, and they find themselves level on points with the Delhi Capitals and the Punjab Kings, all of whom played the same number of games. So that is a serious 3-way tussle now, and it's only challenging 4 teams already before them. Someone will have to slip up in the top 4 for the Capitals to stand a chance. Is it fair to say after tonight that between the Capitals and the Sunrisers, who've had contrasting sort of seasons and yet find themselves in the same place, the Capitals look like the team to make the challenge?
I think so. I mean, that is a prototypical IPL table at this time of the year. With a couple of teams out on top and then 4 or 5 just fighting it out. But I just think the Capitals have a class about them. So I think they'll come home very strong. But that doesn't negate other teams having the same ability to do that. So I think all those 4 teams on 10 points, is it 4 teams? I think they have a chance of making the semis, and rightly so because they have played so well.
Yeah,
RCB on 12.
Effectively, RCB with 12 out of 11 puts all those teams at the same platform. If they can all win their next game, then that's equal footing for everyone. So it makes for quite the contest as we get into the business end of this year's IPL. Right, the Maruti Suzuki Driving School poll of the day, question that was asked earlier today. Who do you think will concede the fewest runs in their 4 overs in... Well, it should have been for today's game. But anyway, I think we're going to come back to that because that's tomorrow's poll. Let's guess it. Yeah, who do you think is going to score? Yeah.
Riley Meredith's on a run. I'm going home.
Yeah, you're going to go Riley Meredith. Okay. Yeah. Rashid Khan's on that list. Jasprit Bumrah's on that list. You're going Meredith.
Yeah, because the top pick never wins that. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, I'm going others. Yeah. Others always win.
Others always win.
Others always win.
Imran, let me get a prediction from you from that poll. Tomorrow's game, Gujarat Mumbai. The options are Bumrah, Rashid Khan, and Meredith, or someone else. Dan has gone for Meredith.
No, I've gone to others.
You've gone for others. He's changed his mind. Yeah. Imran, who's going to be the most economical bowler tomorrow? Maybe you want to tell me?
He's going Rashid Khan. So
Rashid Khan.
Rashid Khan, yeah. Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
little delay allowed us to guess your answer and you
Yeah.
were right. All right, anyway, this was fun. That was the Maruti Suzuki Driving School Poll of the Day. Get busy with that. Big thank you to Imran, Tahir and Daniel Vettori. More from them as the IPL continues to roll along. Do join us tomorrow. Gujarat against Mumbai, top of the table, bottom of the table, contrasting sort of clash. But the Mumbai Indians, you never know what sort of parties they spoil. GT still haven't secured a top 2 playoff spot. If they win tomorrow, that'll get them official qualification and they'll be in the running for finishing in those top 2 playoff spots. So still a big game. Do join us for Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by IQ9 5G tomorrow just after the toss. Until then, good night.